I'm Travis Brown, founder and CEO of Mojo Up Marketing and Media. And this is my podcast, where I talk to the most successful Black and brown business executives who've broken through the barriers of today's business culture. Welcome to Mojo Up Live. I'm your host, Travis Brown, and today I'm bringing you another powerhouse guest from right here in the Indianapolis market. He's not only an attorney, but a husband, a father. He's a master network and relationship guy, and he's my friend, Mr. Dave Corbitt.
Happy to be here.
What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much.
I got to ask you this because we met because our oldest are the same age and our youngest daughters are the same age, or two of our daughters are the same age. And I didn't know you as a business guy at the time. Now I've come to spend time with you in business circles, and I see you walk in rooms, see how people connect, and have learned all the things you've done to be at the point where you're a partner at a law firm now. Like, what's this journey been like for you? Because some people will see you where you are today, but they haven't had a chance to see the journey. So what's the journey like?
Well, I mean, I can give a long answer and a short answer. The short answer is, definitely don't evaluate where I am by just today. It takes a lot of hard work for anybody to achieve clientele, people that want to work with you, and be able to do quality work, particularly in the legal field and the business world. For me, an underlying challenges would be, let's talk simple, accounting major in a field that is a reading and writing field. And so some of the underlying things I'd have to do and did were evaluate what skills it was going to take to be successful in this industry, work hard on those to master my craft, and then be able to sell those to others to help with their interests. Besides that, I grew up in an entrepreneurial family, grew up in Indianapolis. My father demonstrated what business was like. He was out before I got up, and he got in before or after I got in, and he read all the time, every day. My mom showed the compassion side, so she was there demonstrating what it is to care about people, what it is to provide for people, and I think the combination of both provided me with the perspective to be successful in business and have a personality and qualities about me that attracts opportunity.
I want to dive in because I think one of the things that I've experienced that it appears makes you successful is relationships. Like, you're a relationship guy. In a world now that sometimes is disconnected, in a world that is sometimes, Zoom calls, team calls, almost the opposite of relationship building. How have you committed to continuing to build relationships, and how important has that been for you?
Well, I can tell you, just like my phone rings, it is answering the call when the phone rings. It is relationship building to me is not about what I can do for myself. It's about what I can do for that person sitting across from me. It is about finding challenges that people are encountering and helping them find solutions. It may not benefit me directly that day. It may not benefit me directly with that project, but if I go about life and go about my days figuring out how I can help bring two people together for their benefit, it tends to work out to where they think of me for opportunity. So networking is availing myself to others. Networking is being genuine and real with people. And again, I think if you have the perspective of just trying to contribute to their success, you end up building a network without even trying.
When you look back on your journey of success, who's someone that did that for you?
Yes.
That stood in that gap, that gave you that opportunity, that almost reassured you, believed in you maybe more than you did at a point in time? Who was that? Who was that for you?
There's several that I could speak to. The first really that set me on my professional career was a college professor. So I went to school, played at basketball at Central Connecticut State University. Up until my sophomore year, my entire perspective was I wanted to be a basketball player. Now, I didn't know the numbers behind basketball players at that time, how many people wanted to be making a career playing basketball and whatnot. And my accounting professor called me in and said, she had a likeness to me or affinity toward me, and called me in and just talked real. And she said, David, one of these days you won't be able to play basketball. What are you going to do? And I really hadn't posed that question to myself. I didn't have an answer. And she said, well, the things that you do here in class, I can already see you're intelligent. You're getting B's in my class, is what she told me, when you should be getting A's. And I can already see that you have the intelligence to be successful, but you have to apply that intelligence to the things that you're doing. And so that individual, obviously, we bonded very well. I stayed close with Miss Alice Cooperstein for some time, and it really changed my mind at that time. Changed my mind into something that looked forward, as opposed to just looking at today. And so that perspective was really important to me.
I think it's always interesting to hear people at what point in time did they have like that moment. Some people it's high school, some people it's college, some people it was in their business world. So I think you're blessed to have that at college and get that set straight. So now take me to, you're in the journey, you're grinding from a business perspective. You think you probably got it. I'm like, I got it, I'm grinding, I'm doing a thing. Who was somebody that impacted you once you were in that journey?
Yeah.
I know you have a lot, but
Yeah. So in the business journey, I mean, again, there are several. I will point to one of the first was actually my wife's father was maybe not one of the first, but one of the most influential on the direction of my career. He took a liking to me as well. I was working for him while I was at a law firm in Indianapolis. And I was trying to make plans on, this law firm wasn't exactly what I needed or wanted for my career. And the conversation I had with him when I was struggling with that decision, he kind of presented the opportunities that I was considering in kind of broad strokes, and explained to me, David, let me just tell you, you've got to do, number one, the best for you in your career. And number two, I'm going to support you. And his name was Bill Mays, and there was not anybody, I think, up to that time that really demonstrated the business support that you need for a career. So career in law not only is delivering quality written material, delivering quality strategy advice, negotiating quality ways, but you also need clients to hire you to do that.
Right.
And his confidence in me gave me confidence that I could not only do it and be successful for him, but I could do it and be successful for others. So that really helped from the outside. From the inside, there's also, again, been significant amount of support that I received. I've received support from partners at law firms that I was at. I've received support from associates. I've received support from staff. But there has been substantial support. One of the people that I think demonstrate that for me is Bill Neal, who was one of my partners. Now, Bill and I may have certain philosophical differences. I would say define myself as a Democrat. He would define himself as a Republican. But we also define ourselves commonly as God-fearing humans that enjoy life and enjoy people. And I think one of the things he did for me was realize that even though we may be on different sides of the aisle on different issues, we are the same people. And gave me an opportunity to be challenged, gave me an opportunity to challenge. And I think that relationship has broadened my perspective that there are opportunities to do business, whether it's a Democrat administration, a Republican administration, whether you are on the same page with people in the business world in terms of what you like to do, how you like to spend your time. But he really gave me this perspective of focusing on the quality of my work. Yeah. You can still, even if you have certain things that are diametrically different, you can still find common ground with people, and you can still find an opportunity to be successful.
Let me ask you, because in the legal field, I mean, like one of the toughest things that people always talk about, just in business, is passing the bar. Like, how hard is that? And what makes it so difficult, to pass the bar?
Passing the bar is very difficult. Some people, I have a person in my past who said her husband never could pass the bar, but he liked to turn him up. So what I would say about passing the bar seriously is the smartest person in the world that has studied all of this work. So the bar exam is an exam that covers everything basically you study in high school or in law school. It is an exam that you have to prepare for every aspect of the law, and then they test you on it, and only the top percentages get by or pass. And so you are faced with a moment where on 2 days you have to explain that I know generally everything that's going on in the law in Indiana. The difficult part of it is the smartest person can fail this test. You have to prepare in a way to understand how to deliver what they give you or what they're asking for in clear and concise ways. And so the prep for the bar not only is understanding the substantive information on it, but it's being able to communicate that in a way that the reader is going to say, this person has a grasp of it. And there's certain techniques, certain ways to do better on it. But I can assure you that Einstein could prepare for the bar and could potentially not pass because it is just the pressure, the anxiety, and that moment can sometimes fail you.
Interesting. I've heard about it from several different people. We've actually had a couple attorneys on it here, all talking about the difficulty of that. And it's like, wow, how challenging is something like that? Let me ask you this: a lot of people fail that, and that ends their run, if you will. When you think about like the preparation, you think about what you've overcome to be where you are. How does that help you dictate the message that you have as a father to your kids? Because you have kids different ages, need different things from you. But how have you used where you are right now, and what's some of those messages that you're sharing with your kids around, how to become successful?
Yeah, well, that's pretty easy. So my mom used to tell me, "There's nothing I'm going to do that she hadn't done," and with me and my kids, I can tell you that is exactly true. There's absolutely no situation that my kids are going to go through that, for the most part, that I haven't done. To break it down a little bit more, I have been, and I think this may build on some conversations you and I have had in the past. I've been the richest person in the room, and I've been the poorest person in the room. I've been the blackest person in the room. I've been the whitest person in the room. I've been the smartest person in the room. I've been the dumbest person in the room. And it's not about exactly what you bring to that room. It's what you do when you get in there. It's what your perspective is on, am I going to outwork the next person? Am I going to be true about my preparedness and prepare more if I need to? Am I going to be honest with myself about where I want to go and the steps that it takes to get there? And so what I communicate to my kids is, I'll accept anything that you do so long as it reflects the talents that you have and your honest use of them. And so, we're going to be a family, and we're going to love my kids forever. But if I can communicate anything to them, it is not me that they have to make happy. It's them, because they're the ones that are going to have to live with their success and failures. And so long as they are doing their best, they'll be happy with it. They'll be fulfilled. But life is not all about work either. Life is about your family moments. Life is about being true to what you believe is greater than you. Life is about family success, not your own individual success. And so to the extent you are looking at this holistically, if they lose, I lose. And I want to impart the messages to them to let them know that it's okay to fail, but it's also okay to work very hard at what you do in your craft.
From a parenting perspective, how have you guys been able to balance? I know this is a lot of people that are going, hey, I didn't come up with the amount of resources or wealth that I've been able to create, and that's always on different levels from from a lot of people. How have you been able to keep your kids grounded in knowledge and education and keeping them hungry? Because we get to a point, and and my wife and I, we have the same conversation. Like, part of what made us great was our grit and our grind and our hustle. But you're always trying to give your kids more and more opportunities. What's that balance look like for you guys?
Grit, grind, and hustle to me do not. No one can make you gritty. No one can make you hungry. That is something that's within you. And the challenge that I've had to encounter or deal with is my kids have different perspectives on that. They're each inherently different. Some of them want to grind in education, some of them don't. Some of them want to grind on the basketball floor, some of them don't. And so from my perspective, it is merely a communication of figure out who and what you want to be and be the best at it. And so that's more of what we talk about in our home about, I work very hard to provide resources, as does my wife, to have the resources available for my kids to define their future, define who they want to be. Then it becomes their journey. Then it becomes their mission. My kids are not my legacy. I want them to create their own legacy. But it is imparting the knowledge that you have everything you need to be successful other than what you have to bring to the table. And if you bring it to the table, everything is going to work out. So that's more of the message, the way that we look at it.
What about failure? I mean, like you're at a spot now, like things are good, like you're at a important piece of your life right now. But was there a point where like you had to come face to face with the failure of what I thought I was going to be, where I thought I was going to do, the place I thought I was going to be, life, and you're like, shit, like it took some minute to regroup, to overcome. Have you had some of that you've had to overcome?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I will tell you, number one, the greatest area of learning and growth is in failure. And people need to learn to embrace failure. Don't be happy with it. Don't be comfortable with it, but learn to embrace failure as an opportunity to grow. One failure that I had, going back to my early days in the college and my perspective at that time, looking at basketball, and I think I shared this story with you that my sophomore year in college, I was third in the nation in steals and 12th in assists. And I've told this story to others who don't believe it, but it is true. I played very well and I was good at basketball, and I'd gotten to about the best I could do. And that summer, I received a call from, the office received a call from the Los Angeles Clippers, who had just been written up as the worst professional sports team in American history. And what that did for me was bring a realization and maturity moment where I realized that was about the best I could do and the worst team was calling. That was, in my mind, I treated that as a failure because I worked very hard to be at the top, but I still didn't have what it took to get to the NBA in a meaningful way. And what I treated it as was an opportunity. I treated it as an opportunity to reassess, and I never made less than 3.7 grade point average after that. Because of the wisdom from Alice Cooperstein, because of the try and fail of basketball, I realized I had other talents to rely upon, and I put my focus into those in one of my first moments of maturity. I still have very few, but that was one of my first moments of maturity.
I always say there's a group of successful Black OGs, and then there's this up and coming group of successful YPs, right? When you think about navigating the space, because one, as a Black attorney, and there's even in any firm that you've been in, most circles that you still go in, I go in, we're in some of those same circles, like there still isn't a lot of people that look like us, right? So one, how have you navigated that? And then two is, like, for these young Black professionals that are trying to figure out maybe the politics, the networking, the relationships, like what does that look like? What's your recommendation to that group?
Yeah. So, that's a loaded question. What I would say, what you have to realize is that people treat you from perspective. And you have to go in, and you can't perceive every situation as if you are right, meaning I know the answer of why people feel this way or doing this about me. And in the grand scheme of things, it's really not important, because if they feel that way about you, there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it, or at least immediately. And so what I have done in moments that I encounter of being, I'm the first black lawyer, first black partner at my law firm. I'm now on the executive committee, so I'm the first black lawyer on the executive committee. And what I have done when I encounter situations where I'm a fly in a bowl of milk, is I rely on the quality of my work to get me there. And I don't try and change the system until I have the ability to change the system. Because if you are not powerful enough to change the system, all you're going to do is reduce the resources you have to get to the goal that you want. So with patience and concentration on building your worth in other areas that people will not have you or contribute to building your worth, you focus on you focus on your own growth. And then when you get to that opportunity where your voice matters and where your voice can move the needle, you raise your voice and you open your mouth and you speak to those items. And so for me, sometimes it's, the challenges that I encountered in my work were different, but the same as those that came before me. Some were different in that they did not have anyone there in law firms, in the law firm environment, anyone of color in leadership in law firms before they arrived. They had to kick the door in. Me, I had people. I did not have people in leadership positions. So my goal and my challenge was to be even a step above what the landing or the launch pad that they provided me by kicking the door in. Now my job is to be in the decision making. And the job from there and the next group is to create substantive quality of work from those people of color. So my advice would be, don't get, be real, be honest. Some people come in and make challenges based on their differences and express it in a way that their differences are allowing people to hold them down, or that's the reason why people are holding them down when they really are not doing their end. They are not focused on their quality of work and what their contributions are. If you focus on your quality of work and contributions, people still may hold you down, but you will get an opportunity with collaboration with others doing the same thing, that you'll have an opportunity to change the system.
I love what you said, is that there's a point in this where you got to do the work, and your work does have to speak for yourself. There still is that crossroad between you could do the work, you could be excellent, and you still may not get the right opportunity in the timing that you want. But I think a lot of people start barking before they've done the work. And I think that's ultimately a challenge. One of our big pieces of passion at Mojo Up is, through our excellence, like, we will pave the way. And there's a key component there that without that excellence, you can't pave the way. And I'm always talking to our team about all those little things that, yes, we may be judged by, yes, people may look at you differently, all that stuff, but you got to start with that excellence.
Absolutely.
When it comes to influence, you talked about, until you get to the point where you have that influence, boards, committees, events, that kind of stuff. How do you decide, or how do you decide where do you spend your time? Like, what board is worth it, not worth it? Like, not calling out boards, but like, what has that process been like for you?
Well, I would describe it as, there's a shotgun approach and there's a rifle approach. Shotgun approach is get on every board, so you touch as many people as you possibly can, but you have no depth when you do that. Rifle approach is find the boards that are doing things that actually resonate with you. And when you are on a board that focuses in an area that resonates with you, you are going to be successful, because it's really easy. It's not like work. And so what I would describe to people is, don't just get on boards just to get on boards. Get on boards that have outcomes that you feel personally fulfilled by. I've been on school boards. One of my passion is education. I think, there's a lot more we can do to educate people. And so I've been on school boards. I participate in, I've been on homeless communities. I've been homeless boards for homeless initiatives. I'm also on the John C. Bonner Center that focuses on education and housing and homelessness. And some of those, when it aligns with your passion, the people that you're on there with mostly are passionate as well about it, and the connection is really easy. So when we go back to the networking question, you're not even having to intentionally network when you're putting yourself in an environment, in a position that you have similar interests to those that you're sitting next to at the board table. So for me, I would tell people to really be honest with themselves. Don't do too much, but really, if you are going to take a board that in an area that focuses that you are important to you, and don't be just a board member. Don't just come to the meetings. Contribute your time, contribute your money, contribute your perspective to things that move the needle, and it really makes it easy.
Well, I think that's kind of been one of those journeys that I'm now in the process of going through. I was on some boards, they were very important. Then I felt like I got maybe a little too thin for a period of time when we were growing, and then kind of said, all right, let me dive in here, and now slowly adding back a couple things to be involved. And I've seen, a lot of things that you and your wife both have been involved in. It's always been impressive to me. So I do always end with one really important question at the end. But before I do that, we got the Mojo Up hot seat, which is a list of quick fired off questions for you to give me some a simple 1 or 2 word answers or phrases. All right. First one is favorite place to vacation.
Oh my goodness, Jamaica. I can't remember the parish or township off the top of my head, but Bluefields Bay in Jamaica is one of my favorite places on it.
So what's then the favorite city that you've been to?
Favorite city outside of Jamaica, coolest city. Ooh, I love San Francisco. Is a great city. That's a wonderful city. I also love Bloomington.
Hey, there's been a lot of people been on here, and that is the first person to say Bloomington.
I'm the only one being out.
Oh my gosh! Tell you what, favorite food, restaurant, or place that you like to frequent?
Okay, favorite food would be, I like everything if you haven't figured that out. I do love steaks, so I'll go with steakhouse, or steaks are probably my favorite food. And I don't know if I have a favorite restaurant. I like eating at home. I like eating around friends and family. So my favorite restaurant is probably in our home.
A brand that you love to support.
Oh, that I love to support. Wow, these are tough. That's a tough one. A brand I love to support. A long time on United Negro College Fund, because I do believe the light shed on HBCUs is one that is a perspective that we need to continue to see. But the brand that I'd love to support would always be Air Jordan.
Woo! There it is. And I put my ones on today specifically for you because I know you're a ones guy.
Thank you, sir.
So yes, it's funny. It's been pretty universal for so many people that quickly go to the Nike or the Jumpman.
No question.
A favorite sports team?
Favorite sports team? It's a tie. Indianapolis Colts, Indiana Pacers.
All right. Favorite college?
Favorite college would be Central Connecticut State University.
Good.
But
we'll just end it right there.
But Indiana University is they're the team I follow the most, or the school I follow the most.
All right. A favorite TV show or show you recently binged?
Boy, the producer's name, Kenya, I can't remember his name. It is the show around his family. My kids are gonna kill me on this, but it is. They say he wears the leisure suits, the sport leisure. Somebody's got to remember the name of this show. They're gonna kill me.
All right, an all-time favorite movie that you just love.
Man, these are really hard. I like a lot of movies too. I would say 42 was a good movie. I really like that movie, so I'll stick with that one.
There you go. Favorite type of music?
R&B and rap, hip hop.
What would be your hype song?
Oh boy, my gosh. What is it? When, no matter what, whatever song that is.
All I do is win.
All I do is win. I mean, that's
There
it.
you
That's
go.
got to be it.
And a nonprofit you love to support.
Nonprofit I love to support, John C. Bonner Center. I'm on the board. I've been on several boards. Fairbanks is right there too. But let me just say two quick things about each. John C. Bonner takes people where they are, and they figure out on the Near East Side, they figure out who in the community could benefit from support, and they find the way to support them in various ways. I would also say Fairbanks, it's something we don't speak about, the challenges that people have with substance abuse and addiction and recovery. I have seen lives changed, families changed by what Fairbanks brings to the table. So Fairbanks Recovery Hospital would also be there.
Awesome. So you're off the hot seat, but last question is this, is that, you know, for all of us, there comes a time where our tombstone has a number, a dash, and a number. And that dash is all that we did and accomplished. When that time comes, what do you want them to have said about David Corbitt?
Wow. Oh, man. Yeah, I haven't done it yet. I can tell you that. So life is made up of phases. And in my final phases, I want to impact people in their perspective of life. And I really want people, we live in a country that had 460 years of slavery. And we debate about the issues of where people should be, where they should not be. And if I were going to do anything, it would be to help continue the legacy of my father-in-law, Bill Mays, and help African Americans, people of color here in America, realize that they have a wealth of many things. Don't realize the fiction. Realize that we come from a people of kings. And if I were to do anything, it would be, number one, to instill in people that look like me that you are kings and queens, and that you need to grab from the wealth and history that you have. And if it were people that don't look like me and that are not minorities, it would be that we are all in this together, and that our greatest advances have come through people working together. So if I were to do anything with the final phases of my life, it would be change perspective so we can all contribute together and people can realize their dreams through the value of their character and their effort.
Well, man, it's been fun, but it's time to finish this out. Appreciate you coming through and chopping up with me today. So I'll let you do the finishing.
Happy to be here, but it's a wrap.